Hi, good evening, everybody. Here live from the city of Bet Shemesh here in Israel. Just share over some thoughts at the moment. As you can see from the title, I've called it Sirens, Rockets and 5 a.m. in the morning. We woke up in the worst possible way this morning. Usually I get up average morning at around 6 o'clock. I daven Shachrit. I go to synagogue quite early, put on talit, tefillin and pray. Usually I would, many occasions I would actually pray on the way. I walk a good few minutes. But usually my alarm is just after 6 o'clock, but at around 5:40 a.m. What wakes us up this morning? Not my alarm clock, an actual loud siren. It happened to be, I'm not too sure where it came from. I think it was the Houthis, or it was coming from Teman or from Yemen, whatever you want to call it in English, or the Hebrew vernacular. But it came actually from there, and I think it was reported to have been shot down while it was outside of Israel, so it didn't actually come into the country. So hence, we didn't actually hear any loud bangs. But imagine it, we had to drag all the kids downstairs, the safety room. And, it's frightening reality, And I was saying a couple of days ago, in, let's say, areas like Bet Shemesh and surrounding areas that we are in, we haven't had too many sirens, especially since 7th of October. There's been a handful, especially when there was attacks from Iran, but by and large, there hasn't been that many. And then all of a sudden, you hear barely 5:30, 5:40 in the morning, very, very early morning to get this. It's a shock. You've got, I think, 60 seconds or 90 seconds to get to the safety room. So to go, especially if you're living on 2 floors, to get everyone to take the 3-year-old and let's just say to run down the stairs, get everything else ready, and then to close the door. It's, maybe some people can't actually do that. And we take it for granted, many of us, because many people living, especially recently, last month or two, even longer, living in the Haifa area or up north in Tzfat, in all these different areas where from Lebanon, it's been, unfortunately, loads and loads of rockets. It's been on a daily basis. People have had to go to shelter 5-10 times a day, possibly more or less. So when you're living in other areas like in central Israel, where thank God it is less, and we don't want any whatsoever to fall anyway in Israel. So you take it for granted, you see what they're going through, and now all of a sudden you can see, they're getting this 5-10 times a day. We've got it once very early in the morning in since I think it was last time it came in Bet Shemesh, was maybe a few weeks ago when Iran attacked. It's scary. And I remember, I think it was on Yom Kippur night and Rosh Hashanah night in of itself, when I think this year Rosh Hashanah was 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, along with Shabbat. I think it started on Wednesday night, it finished on Motzei Shabbat. So I think it was on I got up for nets to pray on sunrise very early in the morning, both occasions on Rosh Hashanah. I happened to be Shabbat Shuvah, that Shabbat that was after Rosh Hashanah, and I remember getting up very early each time to, pray early, because I'm davening in a sunrise minyan near my house. And as I think one of the mornings, it was maybe on the Friday morning, so we don't know what's going on in the news. We haven't checked it for 2 days. All I can hear the whole time at like 5:15 in the morning before I'm going to the synagogue is just airplanes in the air or noise in the air, and it's just a crazy situation. You don't know what's going on. Now, thank God I don't think anything happened on those specific days. And I remember one night, it's actually interesting, I think it was about 1.5 months ago, I think it was in the middle of Elul, during the Slichot time period where we were doing it in the night time. And I remember I was doing a few videos that night, because I record a lot of videos on the stories of the righteous, because I'm trying to write this encyclopedia at the moment. And I think towards the end of the video, I finished the video and I was so exhausted, I actually fell asleep on my chair. And I think it was 10-15 minutes later, I just probably like 12:30, probably 1:15 in the middle of the night. I woke up straight away, like startled, what's the time and everything else. It felt like it was an eternity. And all I can hear is boom, boom, boom. It wasn't a siren, but it was a loud bang. So something happened. So there's an uncertainty at the moment. That's another thing that is, people we all are scared about at the moment. We don't know. There's all the uncertainty. Which parts of the countries are going to come in? What can we do? And it's a wake up call the whole time, because you can never take life for granted, because when you're living on the edge and you never know what could happen the next moment, especially the first time, especially when Iran attacked, we didn't know what's going to happen. We was walking into unknown. And then you take it for granted. Then the second time it happens. Even I remember the last time I think Iran attacked. It was scary. We don't know what's going to happen. Still, we can say Tehillim, say prayers of Psalms, and you still don't know what exactly is going to happen next. So it is. There's that fright at the time, and you can't take everything for granted. And you see, like all across the world, no one's reporting these rockets. You don't see it. Maybe commented on the main television channels. There's not any media coverage as if no one cares. So that makes it even worse. It makes it psychologically even worse, this situation does. So it just shows how, we live in a time period where we don't know what's going to happen next. But one thing, the great Rabbi Yosef Tzvi Rimon actually said, I remember his brilliant class one time, he said, there's so many miracles that Hashem is doing at this specific point in time. Even when we're in Israel and there's all these rockets coming, there's all this, let's just say, a pouring of hate from so many different corners on 7 fronts at the moment, as some of the people would like to say. We can see how Hashem is protecting us. And, it's the biggest zchut in the world, the biggest merit in the world to live in Eretz Israel. There's nothing like living in this country. It's a country full of miracles, and we cannot take that for granted. We've got to live Israel. We've got to love Israel. We've got to do the mitzvot, which Israel was going to appreciate us. And if we do that, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see the coming of the third Beit HaMikdash, the coming of Mashiach, and just blessings from this world. So let's hope it will be a much smoother night. I'll be able to daven and pray in synagogue early tomorrow morning, like you like to do, and everything will be smooth. And we won't have to go through this situation. We'll have empathy for other people in different areas. Wishing you all a good night. Take care.